Hi everyone, this video is a response to VinylLover95's Thread number 3. So the first question that he asked was, what are the 5 records that you would replace if you lost your collection? This was really hard because most of the records I really want to replace, I probably couldn't. They're just not available in print. So anyway, if I could, this is what I would replace. The Tall Dwarfs, Slug Bucket, Hairy Breath Monster, a 5-track EP from the Tall Dwarfs, which was Chris Knox and Alex Arthgate. This was released, I think, in 1984. Probably my favourite New Zealand record. I absolutely love this. Kind of lo-fi, noisy, guitar-based, pop. Absolutely brilliant. Next up will be the 3Ds, Swarthy Songs for Swabs, another EP, again on Flying Nun, as well as the Tall Dwarfs. This came out in 1990. It's just actually been reissued on CD. There's a new CD called 3Ds, the early recordings, which has Fishtails, the first EP, this EP, plus some demo tracks which haven't been released before. Only available on CD at the moment, but a great primer to the early days of the 3Ds and really worth picking up. So that would be high on my list of records to replace. There's a theme developer here. This is also on Flying Nun, Look Blue Go Purple's EP. Some great EPs released on the Flying Nun label throughout the 80s and the 90s. This is LBGP EP2. I think I've shown this before in a video. And it's got Cactus Cat, Hiawatha, just a brilliant song. This is an all-female band. Do you know what I'm talking about with the Dunedin sound? Kind of the chiming guitars, the beautiful guitar sound. Great record. And another one on Flying Nun, the Straight Jacket Fits, Hail. This is my favourite Straight Jacket Fits album. Others would probably pick others of their albums. This is from 1988. It's pretty ferocious alternative guitar, and Shane Carter is the main man in here. And they reformed a few years back and I saw them play. They played some of the songs off this, which I absolutely love. Shane Carter's just had a new compilation CD put out, which compiles tracks from his very early days and his high school punk band, board games, right through his career, to his solo career, including some of the stuff from Straight Jacket Fits. This is Hail. And again, Flying Nun, the Gordon's Future Shock EP. This is you can't go past it. There's 3 songs on this: Future Shock, Adults and Children, and Machine Song are unsurpassed. Post-punk, really noisy guitar, recorded I think in 1980 or 1981. This is a 1987 reissue on Flying Nun, and it's fantastic. Dark, noisy guitar, and I think I've said before, an influence on bands like Sonic Youth, who cited them. A little more recently, I don't want to have it all old stuff, I've replaced this, Street Chant, and the album's called Memes on Archnell Records. It came out last year. Great, catchy pop punk, really good album, one of my favourite New Zealand albums over the last year or two. And I should say actually that everything I'm showing is a New Zealand release, answering within that. The second question was, what are a couple of local bands that you'd recommend? Well, New Zealand, I think there's a video from What About Kai where he talks about this, and people tend to think of local music in New Zealand as covering the whole country, because it's a small country, only 4.5 million people, and we tend to think of local as covering the whole country. But for this, I've really focused in locally to the island I live, Waiheke Island, and a couple of bands that are worth hearing. So first up, they haven't got an album out on vinyl, Three-Legged Horse. This album Down, and it crosses over with the next question actually about albums you'd like to see on vinyl. This album Down is absolutely fantastic. It's kind of got a bit of old country, a bit of 9 Inch Nails and influence in the lyrics. three-legged horse and no more, but this was a really good album. It's available on Bandcamp. You can buy it from there and hear it there. Really recommend that. And related to that, one of the players from Three-Legged Horse, Pete Taylor, has got a new outfit called Bunny Jack. We recently did a live session with them on the radio station, and that's really worth a listen as well, and I'll put a link up to that as well. The other local acts that I'd recommend, also with nothing out at the moment, are a trio which is Chris Orange, who used to be in some punk bands like the Tearaways and Proud Scum, and Miles Gillette, a local drummer, with Doug Jeremiah, and the three of them are playing together and making some fantastic music, although nothing out at the moment. So there's a couple of local things to check out. And the final question in VinylLover95 Thread number 3 was albums that aren't on vinyl that you'd like to see on vinyl. So this obviously is on vinyl. This is Emerald City, Circus Scaria, their first album. It's what we're listening to now. The reason I'm showing this is because they have a new album, the fourth, which is only available on CD, and it's, if anything, better than this album, which is absolutely brilliant, and I would love to see that on vinyl. They have said that the album is going to be released in the UK, Europe, and the USA in September, and I'm hoping that that will mean vinyl release as well of the fourth, which is the second album from Emerald City, and that would be great to have. Other things that I'd like to see on vinyl, well, where do I start? Velvet Space, Whammo, a New Zealand band that went to New York. They released a number of great albums. This one's on Flying Up again, Whammo. The Bats, some of their albums are available on vinyl. This one isn't, as far as I know. The Guilty Office, a more recent album of theirs on Arsenal Recordings. Really good. High Dependency Unit, they've only got singles out on vinyl, none of their albums, either this one, Fireworks, or their latest, Metamatics, I would love to see out on record. Jacob's latest album, newest album from 2006, Solace, is available on vinyl, but none of their other stuff. So any other album by Jacob. This is Kale Drew, and Subset of Sets, or their self-titled first album, which some call an EP. Any of those on vinyl I would love to have. I kind of picked records that I thought suited the vinyl format, that had that kind of scale and grandeur to them that I think really fits vinyl. Got a few more here as well. I showed the 3Ds earlier as one of the records that I would replace first if I needed to replace my collection. All of their albums, none of them, I think maybe one of them, this one, Strange News from Angels, is available on vinyl, but I haven't been able to track down a copy. But these two, Hell's a Coffin and The Venus Trail, both fantastic albums and not available on vinyl, and I'd love to have those. So there you go, that's my answers to VinylLover95's Thread number 3. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.